Hello, everyone. It's Linda from LindaZ in Arlington Heights, Illinois. Today, this is the Thursday morning video. And what I want to do is wish you all happy holidays. I know that many of you have sent me little comments about why are you going to do this, or are you going to do this during Hanukkah or Christmas or these holiday celebrations. I said, absolutely. These are different times right now. Many of you are not traveling. You're at home with not a large group usually. So because of that, I thought this would really be good. You might not be watching this today, but you might, these are all saved. They're all ready for you to look at. And I thought this was really a really fun one. I happen to have a lot of holiday fabric, so I'm using that. But you could use this for anything, for birthdays, for anniversaries, when you just need a little something to take your mind off whatever chaos is going on in the world. Go back to your sewing machine. And today what I'm going to do is quilting in the hoop with a placemat. You saw on some of my other videos where I've been doing quilting in the hoop on table runners, like for instance this one. This is a really fun one that is, I just love it. I think it's one of the really great ones, that because it's got this binding that I've done with that little tool that you may have seen. And I'm not going to show you the binding today, but I am going to do another video next week, right towards the end of the year, and it is going to focus on mitering your corners with your binding. Then I'm also going to do another one that is going to focus on finishing your ends of your quilt binding. So rather than do one big long one where you can't have the time to do it, I'm going to stretch them out and give you individual ones that I think will really be fun. So everybody can do a simple placemat, and it's so fun to, maybe it's just you. Maybe you're having coffee by yourself in the morning and you are put out a little cloth table mat like this. This has already been done. You can see on both sides. It has actually got the quilting on it, and that's what I'm going to show you, how simple it is to do this in the hoop. Now, I do have this wonderful Luminaire that's got the great big hoop, but if you don't have a big hoop, this is actually about 11 by 16, so 272 by 408 millimeters. But if you don't have that, that's okay. You still can do it in sections. You could do this in 4 sections and actually do the quilting. And the reason that I'm doing a design that's built into the machine, I want you to be able to take any quilting pattern that you find, because all machines today have that wonderful USB port on the side, and be able to take a quilt design from someplace you found and go ahead and put it into your machine, and voila, you're ready to go. So what I've done is I've set up the machine. I have it with the embroidery foot on it, of course. I have the big hoop. I have the backing fabric. I have the batting, and then I have the topper. Now, if you notice in this hoop, there is fabric that is, the batting is all the way around. It's going to start quilting in the center, and it's going to go out, just like if you were doing free motion work, only the machine is doing the work. I want to talk about the thread, because I think that's important. This had a gold look to it, and I just wanted to enhance the color of the placemat. So I found a gold Floriani, it's not a metallic, and I found a Quilter Select. They have these wonderful pre-wound L bobbins that will fit in your machine. They're all pre-wound, and they're like an 80 weight. So if you see the back of this, it's just as pretty as the front. And it's really embroidered or quilted because of the threads that we're using. So it pops it kind of up to the top, but the back side looks really good too. So let's start, and let me tell you what I did. In this particular one, you can go into your machine, and I know many of your machines today do have designs built in. And you can see on this one, I found a whole bunch of designs in all kinds of different, every one of these have little pockets. And I thought, you know what, I want to do a little bit more open design so you could see it. And there I just picked that one, so I'm going to set it. And now I want to do some more with it, because I have this great big hoop. I want to fill the hoop. Now I could do this in a different way with Design Center, or just hit the stippling icon, but I didn't want to do that. I want to actually show you how to add the two designs together. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to hit the edit, and I'm going to do a sizing because that's not big enough for me. Now, you know, anytime you size, you want to recalculate it first. You see how it gives you that little button. I'm going to say okay. And now I'm going to actually bring this down to the bottom, see about where I want it to be. I can do that right on my screen. And I want to bring this a little wider. Oh, and the edit function cannot be when it's outside of the red line. So let's bring it right up a little bit. That's how smart this machine is. And you see now I went right to the end, and that's what I want to do. I want to bring it to the end. Let me put it in the middle again. And again, I can bring it out even further. I could bring it over here a little and do the same thing. But I don't want to do that. I'm pretty well satisfied with that. So I'm going to say, okay. Now what I want to do, because I like this design, I am going to take and just make a second one. And I just hit it, and there I have my second design. And I'm going to kind of match them up. Now, what if I don't like, I can flip it. I could go ahead and turn it. I do actually like the way this is, but I don't want them to touch. So I'm going to move this, and I'm going to bring it up a little bit more. Now I'm going to bring it down a little more. See how it'll kind of come right to the edge of where it's going to be. Now, I could have flipped it. I like this, so I'm going to say okay. Then what I'm going to do is I am going to, if I look into this move, you can see I could have, I want to select them, and I want to select them both. There's the top one, and there's the bottom one. So I don't want two different patterns. I want to combine them. So let's go back and do that. And you can see in here, there's a select. I can set this, and I'm going to hit this again, and now the whole thing is selected. Okay, all I have to do is say okay. I'm going to do my embroidery, and now it's all ready to set. But look at here, it's showing it's going to sew one, and then it's going to stop and ask me to change the thread. I don't want to do that. I want to go back to the layout, and I want to hit a monochromatic so it will all sew at one time. I don't have to change any thread or anything. So it's all done. And now, you see that's grayed out? That means that there's one thread that will go all the way through. There's another button that I always check on this machine that is really wonderful, and that's this little cone. And I hope you can see that on here. I know, Nick, you've got a really great camera that is really amazing what will happen. And look at what's going on here. There is my, it's actually a projector that's built into the machine. And I can bring it down so I can see exactly where that looks at the end. So I can see how far down it is. I can see how far up it is, so I can adjust whichever way I want to make that design. I like what's going on. Now, if you're happy with this, you want to save it into memory. Now, I've got a USB or I have a machine. Now, I'm not going to do that because I already have it in memory. So I'm going to cancel out of that. Let me go back and say okay. And go back into my embroidery. Now, what do I do when I want a machine that is, a design that's already done? I go into my pocket and I go into my machine, and there it is. This is the last one that I did. It's already saved for me. I'm going to set it. I'm going to do my embroidery, and it's all ready to go. So all I have to do is touch the button and look at where it's going. Now, I wanted to show you this. That's why I didn't have it threaded. Those of you that have not seen this before, look at how wonderful this threading is. That's an automatic threader that is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. So a lot of people have asked, will you show some of the little features when you're doing these? And that's one that I think is just wonderful. And you can hear how quiet this machine is as it's going. I have no stabilizer on here because this is quilting. And it is really doing a beautiful job. It's just giving me that wonderful kind of free motion, open weave look that is really fabulous. And it's going to continue. Now, I could make this go a little faster if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I want you to actually see how wonderful this stitch is and what it looks like. Now, this whole entire piece is going to be filled. And you'll see it. If you don't get too bored, I'll continue and let you see it as we're going. But say that you are in the middle of this and you're saying to yourself, well, I can't see it that well. We have a new little stocking stuffer that just came. Let's see if I can find the box for you. It's in a real, oh, here it is. A real cute little box that is It's called the Eversone light. And I'm just going to touch the button and look at the light. So say that I want to put this on here and I want to have more light down here or more light over here or more light in the back. I can flip it on the back. So you can put a few of these around, and they're very inexpensive. They're around $30-some. And there's a little Velcro that you could put, so you can put it exactly where you want this. And we're always looking for really cute, new, and not just cute, but things that really work, ideas for our birthday gifts or anniversaries or whatever. I also have this, unfortunately, or fortunately, every one of us needs some of these little seam rippers, and they are important when you're doing, and I love the small ones because they're real easy to get into. But this is an eraser. So if I had to pick this out, I could just go like that and the threads will come right up to the top. And they are, I don't know, they're very inexpensive and really fun. I want to show you the creme de la creme of lights, and that is the Slimline table lamp, which I think is just wonderful. Put it right here, sure, so you can see it. And you see that big long LED light? I could clamp it to the machine and it would go straight across the front or straight across the back. I have two of these. I have one on my serger. This has got such great light, but you know, we can never have enough light. And if you're in the middle of 10 o'clock at night and you're sewing and there's not a very good lighting system, then this would be a wonderful addition to you. Now, while this is going on, you can see what has happened here. I am going to quickly take my next step after I get this quilted is to do my borders. And I'm going to do the 2-inch borders like I did on the other design. Let's see, here's my thing. Because like I did on here, because I'm actually going to run this through the so I can get a real nice binding like this, and it's actually a bias binding, only it's not on the bias, this is lengthwise. And I'm going to go ahead and get a nice trim. All right, let me get that right on the line. I've already got it lined up so you can see what I've done here. And you can see my blade is, this is when you've used your blade a lot. You can always tell. And I do have another, I can just flip this off and put a new one on and I'm ready to go. Now, if I had my AccuQuilt cutter here, I would definitely be using that too. But you see how I'm lining up my lines right here? I don't like to use the board. I don't know how accurate that is, but the ruler should be pretty accurate. So yeah, I'm lining up the edge of it with here and the edge here. So I'm going to get an exact 2-inch strip. And once I get that strip, okay, then I'm going to cut off that. Normally I would never have any of these little extra lids on here, so I can tell you I definitely need to change my blade. Now I run this through my little bias tape thing, and it will fold it and fold it. Then I press it on the iron. You've seen me do this before, and I will do that on another video for you because I want to show you how I do the mitered edges. These mitered edges will be a little different than the mitered edges that you're used to seeing when you go across and it flips up and back like this. We're also going to show you this method too. So now you see I had this stop because I only wanted to go part way for you. I think you get the idea of what's going on. And one of the key things when you're doing a placemat is you've got extra fabric. You always want to leave the extra fabric out here. Now, of course, this is really a wonderful piece too, is your mat. When you're through, you're going to take it. If you've got the Laura Star, you really won't need the mat. But if you don't have the Laura Star, you want to take your fabric and you want to press this. And when I say press, you start in the middle. You press out, press out, press out, press, press. Not iron, press, press, press. And then you've got lots of extra fabric around here so that you can get, if you notice on mine, I have about 2¼ inches on the side here and about 2 inches on the bottom. I wanted it a little wider for the border on the side, but I could trim this a little bit more. That's your preference of the size of your mat. I like to start out with at least a half yard for each mat, and then I put the same fabric on the back. So out of 1 yard, you can get 2 placemats. I hope this has helped you a little bit, showing you quilting in the hoop. I'm all done. I'm all ready. I didn't have to do anything, just put it in the hoop, put the batting in between, and I'm ready to go. So my last little note for everybody is that hopefully we'll see you one more time before the new year. And we are wishing you lots and lots of happiness this holiday season or any time of the year. Thank you, everyone, for being with us.